Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another episode of what is the Arsenal Transfer Show. I've done that thing where I go live and then I check to see everything's connected. And for some reason, as you can probably hear, the microphone isn't. I don't know why. Why is the microphone not working is my question. I need to find out the answer. And I'm going to try and do that as swiftly as I feasibly can. Is it because it's attached to nothing? That might be the reason. Let's have a quick look. It's indeed attached to nothing.
That fixes it. Right. Is that fixed it? Is that it? Yes. There we go. Lovely stuff. Finally. Oh, what a way to start a 50K. What a way to start a 50K stream with crazy, stupid microphone issues. That's what happens when you leave the studio for a week and you get back and you've got nothing sorted the way that you think it was. Thank you. First of all, I should start a massive thank you to everybody for helping us reach what is a amazing milestone for the channel. It is an unbelievable feeling to hit that level, hit that milestone of 50,000 subscribers. So thank you to everybody. I will have details about how we are marking the occasion. And it is going to be, hopefully, with those based at least in the UK, an opportunity for people to meet within the community and have a fantastic time as well. But as I say, I'll be getting you more details on that very, very soon indeed. But good morning to all of you. Thank you so much, as always, for tuning in. It is very much appreciated. I hope you've had a fantastic week so far. I hope you've been enjoying the content, even though it's not been able to be as good as it usually is in terms of the surroundings. But I hope you've still been able to enjoy it as much as feasibly possible. Good morning to Lars, to NSW, to Marcus, to Pinnyween. Good morning to Mr. E, Matt G. Good morning to Christopher, Steve. Good morning to Sedney. Good morning to Chima. Good morning to Johnny. Good morning to Martin and Mike and Clock Orange as well. Good morning to all of you. Thank you. And we've also got a donation from Louis. Woohoo, 50K. Thank you so much, Louis. Very much appreciate the kind donation. And Jakob, welcome to the TGT family and becoming a brand new member. As a member, if that is indeed to join our Discord server, you will get ahead of everybody who's not in the Discord server an opportunity to find out, of course, about our live events that we're going to be doing very, very soon. Right. I think that's enough self-congratulations on the channel, and I think we should move straight into the news, shall we? Let's do that right away. Let's kick off today's stories with Matt Turner. And unfortunately, the US men's national team on the losing end in the Gold Cup semi-final. A 1-1 draw with Panama, in which, unfortunately, Matt Turner was unable to pull off any more penalty heroics and get the United States through to the final. Panama winning on penalties 5-4, and Matt Turner will now undergo his extended break that he's been given, and that, of course, will indeed mean that he'll miss the Germany game, the game in Germany today, as we expect. But he could, it seems, be back for the US tour, which means he may not have to fly back to the UK. He could stay straight out, I suppose, in the US and join up with the team for that US tour. We'll have to wait and see. But during the game against Panama, Matt Turner did pull off a very, very good save. Downward header into the ground, bouncing upwards, reacted really swiftly to push the ball over the top of the net. He also did save one penalty, points out Ron, but it was not enough in the end to get the United States through to the final of the Gold Cup, where Panama will play Mexico in the final. So I think it's fair to say the favourites for that final will be Mexico, and let's see if they can pick up another Gold Cup. But yes, Matt Turner, I think overall has had a really, really good tournament, a tournament that he can be certainly proud of, and one that he will be taking plenty of positive experiences away into a brand new Arsenal season. Now, Arsenal are, as I said and mentioned, set to take on Nurnberg in today's first official pre-season clash. I know that we've already played a game behind closed doors against Watford, but pre-season is now officially getting underway. And you can watch, obviously, the game on the Arsenal website. Kickoff is at 6 p.m. It is indeed UK time. So 7 p.m. Germany time, but you'll be able to watch that on the Arsenal website. If you can't watch the game, but you want to stay up to date with what's going on, I'll be doing the live blog over on football.london. So if you want to keep up with text commentary, I'll be doing that over on the football.london website. So make sure that you join us out over in Germany for the coverage of the game in which we hope to see Kai Havertz for the first time in an Arsenal shirt on the field. Let's see how that plays out. It's going to be very, very interesting indeed. We will also get some insight into Arsenal's latest injury situation. Simon Collins of the Evening Standard reporting, of course, that Arsenal have been boosted by the returns of a number of players that missed the end of last season. Mohamed El-Neni, Alexander Zinchenko, William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli, and Takahiro Tomiyasu, all, of course, back in training on the ball, doing ball work, but we don't really know kind of the stages at which these guys are at. It will be interesting to see if any of those 5 take part in today's game in Germany. If they don't, we kind of get an indication about where still they need to go, about what they still need to do, and they're still building up their fitness. So they'll have to wait and see if indeed we'll be able to see any of their updates and hear from the manager as well. Of course, that's a big thing about the game, is that hopefully we'll be able to hear from Mikel Arteta, get some insight into what is going on in the world of Arsenal, and from the players as well after the game. I remember last year when we played Nurnberg that El-Neni came out after the game after scoring a brilliant goal, as he likes to do sometimes, and say that Arsenal would be going for the title last season, which they did. So let's wait and hear from the players and the manager and see what's said after today's game. For those asking about if the game is free to watch, it's not. You have to buy a pass on the Arsenal website. I think you can buy like a singular pass for one of the games, or you can buy like a pass for all of the games at a discounted price. But if you don't want to pay the money to watch the game, of course, we'll be doing the text commentary on the football.london website for the game at 6 p.m. tonight. And AC Milan could move for Balogun, it's said, in the next few days. Very interesting indeed. Balogun, of course, his future. He is expected to take part in today's game against Nurnberg in Germany. But according to Daniele Longo, who writes for Culture Mercato, he's one of the better reporters, has reported that AC Milan very interested. However, that the 40 million valuation that Arsenal supposedly have is making it a little bit tricky for them to do that deal. But it is said that they could make that move in the next few days. So let's wait and see. But Balogun is expected to take part in today's game and play again in an Arsenal shirt. So I look forward to seeing that and getting kind of a feel for how he is going to play. So let's wait and see how that turns out. Now, after all of this week, if we're honest, there's been kind of chaos this week in regards to announcements. Yesterday, it seemed that Jurrien Timber's image leaked across the Arsenal website. A lot of accounts on social media yesterday highlighting a link which would take you through to a aspect of the Arsenal website that seemed to reveal Jurrien Timber's image that is going to be updated onto the Arsenal page for the kind of profile photos for the Arsenal website for the forthcoming season, seemingly leaking the fact that Jurrien Timber is an Arsenal player already. We are still waiting for an announcement, of course, officially about the player, but we're hoping to get that very soon indeed. I know that I've been saying that for quite some time, but that is the situation. We are hoping to get this update, this announcement very soon. Could be today. We'll have to wait and see. There had been suggestions that some hoped that he might be involved in today's game. That seems unlikely at this stage, but let's see if there is an announcement on Jurrien Timber today. We hope that there is. And speaking of hope regarding announcements, Declan Rice as well. We are waiting still for an official announcement on Declan Rice. However, David Ornstein did go on to Sky Sports yesterday, in which he talked a lot about that, Declan Rice, and said, "My understanding is pretty much everything is done and calm. For Arsenal fans, there is nothing to worry about. They are sticking to a record fee, and advertising can make some time on a deal of this size. It is on track, and they will get through the final stages." That's what David Ornstein of The Athletic said on Sky yesterday. So for those that are panicking, again, I implore you, I encourage you, I tell you, please stop panicking. There is not a need to panic about the Declan Rice situation. It is a deal that at a level that it is taking time to get through all of those finer details. and to make sure that we're not getting mugged off. I think that's important to point out, because if, say, we found out in a year's time that one of the clauses in those deals that hadn't been read properly was costing Arsenal a silly amount of money before they thought, we need to make sure that those are all good and proper. So I have no issue with Arsenal taking their time as long as they get the deal done in the terms that they are happy to get the deal done in. I have said, and I tweeted yesterday, if these situations, if the transfers, if the process of waiting for an announcement is making you sad, is making you affect your mental health in any way, take yourself away from it. Take yourself away from these shows, from Twitter, from Arsenal, as best you can. There are far more important things in this world than you getting upset and worked up over transfers. And I encourage you to take yourselves away from those things, because it is just not worth you getting all worked up and upset. Getting to a level where you're upset about this is too far. It is over-exaggerated. It is an overreaction, in my opinion. So, just chill. Just chill and wait. There's nothing to worry about. Some people suggesting, he could be training. He's training. He's keeping fit. A week regarding work with teammates is not going to affect things all that much, if at all. He is going to be very, very ready to come back in. It's not, it's a player that's already played in the Premier League. It's a player that plays for England as well. So it's very much... is very much a player that I am expecting to see in an Arsenal shirt very soon. When is the big question? Let's hope that it's before the end of the week. There was a feeling that it would be before the end of this week. So let's see if that indeed does turn out to be the case. Right, that's all of part one. So let's move to part two. Your questions and more right after this. Of course, you can continue to help support our fantastic cause, which is the Cancer Macmillan Longest Day Golf Challenge, in support of the charity and, of course, in memory of our good friend Vinny as well. Link down in the description. And I'll be hopefully getting in contact with those of you outside of the UK that have been reaching out over the last week or so. If you'd still like to get involved and you are based outside of the UK, you can reach out through my socials. And if you're based in the UK, you can donate immediately through the link down in the description. Right. Again, for those that have joined late, a massive, massive, massive thank you to everybody that has continued to tune in. Thank you to everybody that has subscribed and helped us reach 50,000. It means so incredibly much. It means so much to us. It means to our regular kind of panelists that we have on, to us as a community, that it has grown, continued to grow. And I think I'm so incredibly proud of the community that we've built here on our way to 50K. So thank you. A lot of work goes into this, a lot of time, a lot of stress, a lot of debates, arguments, phone-ins, like chaotic streams. So much has gone into this channel. I took it on in 2016 from Craig, of course, who started the channel in 2015. We were on about 8,000 subscribers when I took things over, and we're now at 50,000. So thank you for all of you that have supported me over the last 7 to 8 years. It means so incredibly much that you watch and continue to do so. And I want to make that very clear. And I look forward to giving you all the details about our live event that is going to be happening literally just after. In fact, a month today, I can tell you that month today on the 13th of August is when our live event will be, which is the day after the first game of the season against Nottingham Forest. There will be details about how you can get tickets to this event that is going to be based in North London on the 13th of August. Details will be coming out very soon. However, I will tell you that there will be a first offering made to those members in our Discord server before, for those that there are still remaining tickets, will be left open to the wider audience as well. So if you want to get first dibs and first opportunity so that they don't sell out and you're not missing out, make sure you join up as a member. TGT expert members and TGT ambassadors, of course, get access to the Discord server. It's an amazing community. A lot of you have been gifted that ability by our good friend and very generous contributor, Stephen, as well. So I'll be sending links into there, hopefully, very soon indeed, regarding tickets, and I look forward to getting you involved. So there you go. Right, let's go into the chat box then. Gianni says, the one and only Mr. Tom Canton, where you can guarantee he will put absolute effort into pronouncing Reims, but can't pronounce it or whatsoever. Yes, that is me. I give it, at least I give it a go. At least I'm not saying Reims. I could be saying Reims or Rems. I'm giving it the best French pronunciation I possibly can. Reims, that's hoping is as close to the real thing as I can get it. Bradsky says, Arsenal have always been embarrassing when it comes to finalising a transfer. Been that way since 2006, 2007. When do you see that happening with other big signings? Honestly, it makes us look terrible. Well, like Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Leandro Trossard, I think Nicola Pepe, ironically, the £72 million. We got that sorted pretty quickly. I'm struggling with this. I don't think it's embarrassing at all. I don't really get it. I don't know why people would find it embarrassing. We get the deal done, and we get deals done for the prices that we are, or as close to the price that we're willing to pay. So I don't get the embarrassing thing. If you think it's embarrassing, I imagine it's because you're getting a bit of stick from fans of rival clubs. If you are, don't listen to them. Why would they want to support you in any way? They're probably going to tell you it's embarrassing because that's what rival fans do. So I don't really know why it's embarrassing, Bradsky, to be honest. Jack, as the truth says, if a Tom moans about camping in the woods and no one hears him, did it actually happen? I'm trying to struggle through that comment, but the answer is yes. And Latvian Gooner says, Tom, how did the spider get on yesterday? For those that tuned in and maybe saw the end credit scene of our show yesterday, I have no idea. I drove home yesterday evening for 3 hours and it didn't emerge. So I made it home safely and was not ambushed by any spiders, thankfully, very much so. Let's go to Jabu, who says, in your opinion, if we keep the squad the same as it is now, do we need more additions and in which positions? I think if the squad is as is, I think we're pretty good, actually. I think if Balogun stays, if Tierney stays, if Partey stays, I think we're pretty good. I give the window a 9 out of 10 if those three players end up staying. If indeed Partey leaves and Balogun leaves and Tierney leaves, I think we need to do some more work. I think we need another midfielder. I think you'd argue maybe we need and could bring in another forward. I think you could argue that we could bring in, I think, a right back. So Tomiyasu moves to the left back to cover off Tierney. Clearly fits into what Arteta wants, and I'd bring in a more offensive-minded right back to give us something different in that position. So that's what I would look to. That's what I would consider doing. But if it was to end right now, I don't think there's a massively pressing need to bring in something else. Maybe another centre mid, potentially. But it depends very much on who leaves for me now in terms of what business we do. Let's go to people trying to get me to turn around, not doing it. Mate B says, Tom, would you recommend a sleeping bag, mat, or a camp bed for my 3-night camping trip on a roundabout in Chatham? I wouldn't recommend doing any of that, to be honest, mate. It sounds like a horrific idea. Clancy says, Tom, who drafted the documents for the Rice transfer, Arsenal's lawyers or West Ham's lawyers? It's a good question, Clancy. And I can tell you that a transfer is kind of drawn up by people at the club and has to be agreed between both parties. They have to agree on, they'll send documents back and forth, negotiating, finalizing, counter offering. So it's a combination of both clubs that are sorting out this deal. So you need to read through it on both accounts. It seems that it's kind of been signed on the West Ham side of things. Don't quote me on that, but that's the kind of feeling that's been seen from what I've read online. And we're now waiting on the Arsenal side of things to sign off on everything as well. Alex says, Tom, what are your thoughts on the Chelsea Caicedo situation? What's really good about this deal from an Arsenal perspective is it kind of completely rubbishes the whole, if this was Chelsea getting Rice, they would have it done by now. Arsenal are really slow in the market, or Arsenal are a big club, they would have got their big targets in by now. Chelsea have been used as this kind of not even a martyr's not the right word, as kind of an idyllic club that is a representation of what a big club does in the market. Spends big money, gets its deals done, pays the bucks, and gets the player in. Well, the Caicedo deal is absolutely the evidence that anyone that did not agree with those points of views needed to highlight the fact that, no, Sometimes clubs ask for amounts of money that are just ludicrously high, and unless you can spend time haggling, getting the valuation of the player down, you're not going to get that player unless you pay a serious amount of money. Now, Arsenal have successfully lowballed both or three of Havertz, Timber, and now Rice. Remember the Rice valuation was said to be around £120 million from West Ham's point of view. The Timber valuation was said to be at 60 million euros, and the Havertz valuation was at 70 million pounds. That's what they wanted for him. Arsenal have ended up getting discounts off all three of those players from what their clubs initially valued those players at. If Arsenal had gone out and just spent the money and got those deals done, they'd end up spending potentially 30 plus million more than they would have needed to. So for those people that were desperate to point out that Arsenal just need to go and get the big deals done and go and pay the money, unfortunately, it's just not worked out that way. It's just not worked out that way. AB1 Live says, Tom is a top waffler. Top waffler's got to 50k. Can't be doing that badly, can I? Christoph says, hey, Tom, do you think we will sign another midfielder regardless of Partey leaving or not, and a striker? I don't think a striker. I just don't see it. Regarding a midfielder, potentially. Even if Partey doesn't leave, I think there's potential if they see an opportunity in the market that they are keen on getting to. I think that might be something that they might look to try and do. Craig, thank you for the super chat. Apple Podcasts, the TalkSport address is so loud and deafening. Is there anything you can do? I can try and sending a request to get that turned down. I don't handle that bit of the stream, sadly, but I can send in another request to try and get it turned down for you, Craig. I will do my best. Let's go to Morgan. Says, good grief. If I hadn't caught the spider, my missus wouldn't have ever got in the car again. Yeah, certainly not the situation I thankfully have at all. Bradsky says, it sounds like excuses. Oh, we got the right. Everyone get your bingo cards out. Have we got it? You got it? Excuses. It's right next to the raise your standards mark on your bingo card. Let's just cross off the word excuses. We've got that one. Anyway, I'll carry on reading that. I'm sorry, Bradsky. That was so patronizing. It sounds like excuses to me, mate. These are multi-million-dollar contracts handled by high-priced lawyers who do this on a regular. It shouldn't take this long, or it should be kept quiet for longer. I mean, I'm going to assume, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but from the way that you're talking about this, it tells me that you probably haven't done this type of deal. So how you can know that these do this and it shouldn't be taking this long, I don't know how you can know that. I just don't. I don't know who's told you that. Maybe you've got a friend who's a lawyer that works for Arsenal. I don't know. I can't assume that you don't. But what I can tell you is that the way in which football has worked in the last decade is that things are leaked far more regularly. Things are made far more public than they ever have done before. And so perceptions about how deals done, about how different clubs operate, about how deals are transferred and completed, it's just not going to be the same for every single deal. And I just don't think it's anything to moan about. Like, at the end of the day, if Rice gets done, put this kind of situation to perspective. If you've been on Twitter or on YouTube and you have been moaning and tweeting and criticizing the way in which Arsenal have done this transfer and it gets done, aren't you going to look really silly? Like, I'm not saying that you shouldn't say things out of fear of looking silly, because trust me, I've said plenty of things and then looked silly. I look really... Go back and watch my Emi Buendia video if you just want to know how silly I can look, for instance. But I just don't get it. Like, I don't get the anger. I don't get the calls from some that Edu needs to be gone. I know we've gone over this a million times. I know some people get frustrated with me covering old ground, if you like. But I do it because I have respect for every comment that gets left and I want to tackle them. But the point is that I just don't get what the need to be angry about is. I don't get what the need to be frustrated, to be audibly or, showingly on social media angry or critical of what is a monumentally fantastic, unbelievable, groundbreaking transfer for Arsenal. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I really can't get my head around it. Arsenal signing Declan Rice is the biggest transfer that this club has done since arguably at least Mesut Ozil, if not Sol Campbell. Facts. Minimum, period. And if this gets done, there is no criticism to be had. There is no, we should have done it quicker. It should have been announced sooner. We could have got him for cheaper. Why have we paid so much? No. This transfer is one of the biggest, most... I can't... I've run out of superlatives. I've run out of adjectives. And this deal getting done is a humongous achievement by the club and a massive statement of intent of where it wants to go. Not only that, but they are taking a big risk on Kai Havertz that has to pay off, and that's on Arteta. You know, Edu's got that deal done, finished, complete. It's on Arteta to get the best out of Kai Havertz and prove all those doubters wrong. I'm all up for criticism of that deal if it doesn't work, because it's a risk. It's absolutely a risk. But when it comes down to the Jurrien Timber deal as well, Arsenal have got one of the best young defenders on the planet in for less than 40 million quid, potentially more, maybe on all add-ons. And this window is just not something that people can moan about. It's just not. It's just not something to moan about. I just don't get it. My assumption is, and I hope I'm wrong, but my assumption is that some people are just never going to be happy. Some people are always going to moan. Some people are always going to criticize the club. Some people are always just going to be, in some manners, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but too proud in their own point of view ever to surrender, to hold their hands up and say, you know what, I was wrong. I take back my criticisms. Arsenal Football Club have done a brilliant job. Arteta's done a brilliant job. Edu's done a brilliant job. You know, because those are the facts. Arsenal get Rice, Timber, Havertz in. If we, let's see how the window finishes, we could end up doing some brilliant stuff. The facts are, if those are the three signings we make, if we either keep or replace Partey, if we keep or replace Tierney, if we keep or replace Balogun, Arsenal have done an amazing job this window. There's no criticism. It's just the only embarrassment, if you want to call it Arsenal are embarrassing for their transfers, the only embarrassment will come from when Arsenal get this deal done and there is a record in text on YouTube comments, on Twitter forums, on the Reddit posts of people saying that Arsenal need to sack the guys that got the deal done. That's the embarrassment for me. That's where the embarrassment comes from, not from the club at all. I just don't get it. Let's go to Chris P. Says, any chance, and thank you for the donation, Chris, any chance these announcements are linked to the away kit release? If it is that pattern, I'd understand them wanting to maximize sales with a Rice announcement. Congrats on the 50K. Have a drink on me. Thanks, Chris. Potentially, it is not the nicest away kit, is it? I mean, if they're going to try and time the Rice announcement for the away kit launch to kind of boost the sales, because they're going to have to do something. I personally won't be getting the away kit. I can't see me doing it. There's always been part of me that thinks that it's going to be one of those rare kits because not many people are going to buy it because it's not that nice. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I just can't get my head around why that would happen. Let's go to Fisayo says, you can't rate the window a 9 if we still have Deadwood like Pepe, Nuno, Sambi holding El Neni. Windows are not only for incomings. True. It's a good point. Let's go 8.5. Pepe, I think, will be paid off to leave, I think. Tavares, we can sell. Sambi, we can sell. El Neni is a weird one. I don't know why people keep including El Neni. He's been given a new contract. He's going to be here. So if you can't deal with that, I don't know what to tell you. He's kept at the club because the club have done it's a really classy move, in my opinion, by the club to keep El Neni. His presence doesn't affect transfers in any way. It's financially not a big deal for us at all. It's the right thing to keep El Neni for this season. But sure, let's go 8.5 until we move those players on. Safwan says, Tom, why would we sign Havertz when we need an out-and-out striker? Because he's not going to play there, probably. He's not going to play in that position. Also, what I would say is I've seen a lot of people talk to me about Vlahovic and say that why are Arsenal going for someone like Vlahovic? We need someone who's a more natural finisher. We need someone who's going to score more goals than Jesus. Can anyone tell me how many goals in the league did Jesus score this season or last season? And can anyone tell me how many league goals Dusan Vlahovic scored last season? So, yeah. And I mean, Jesus had a serious knee injury, was missing for a third of it. I know that Vlahovic missed some of the season as well. But can anyone tell me who scored more goals in the league, Jesus or Vlahovic? You might be able to tell from my tone. I think there is a obvious answer. Let's go to Edward. Says, what is the problem with the Rice transfer delay? Arsenal really frustrating the fans of this club when it comes to, I don't know why. Again, Edward, I don't know why. I don't know why you're frustrated. It's going to get done. Look, if the Rice transfer doesn't happen, I'm sure, look, we can all sit here and cry about it and we can all moan at the club. Look, but there is no indication, and there has been no indication given to us that there's anything wrong. You've had the most, in my opinion, well-respected and most informed journalist in the world regarding Arsenal in David Ornstein telling you last night there is nothing to worry about. So why are people worrying? I just don't get it. It's going to happen. Just be patient, guys. Jeez. Praktika says, can people just stop second-guessing the manager? If he's not going for Vlahovic, it's because he has plans that don't include Vlahovic. Now, these types of comments, and Praktika, I don't mean to go in on you for this. These types of comments bother me a little bit, right? You should be able to be critical of Arsenal if what you are saying has weight, if there's evidence to back it up. If you've got a criticism of the club and you can back it, fair play to you. Go for it. Like the criticism of the whole Rice situation, a lot of BS. It's just not a viable criticism. But when it comes to stuff like in-game management, when it comes to stuff like Arteta's decision-making with substitutions, these are things that I think that he can improve. Now, someone might say to me, well, you're not a manager. You've never managed a football club. You've never done your coaching badges. Who are you to criticize Arteta? Who are you to highlight any area of development that Arteta has? And to be fair, there is some part of that makes sense. I'm not a manager. I don't have coaching badges. Yes, football is my job and I talk about it every single day and I write about it every single day and I cover this club like it's my life because it practically is, other than the misses and golf. But other than those things, like, everything in my life is all encompassing around Arsenal. And I feel as though I'm in a good enough position and I've watched Arsenal long enough and football long enough to know when I can make a criticism about the manager. So why I don't necessarily like comments that go, Arteta, is the manager and he, whatever he does, is going to be the right decision. I have an issue in that sense if you can back it up. Now, I think there are some levels of, there are some tangents to that. So, for instance, some people have asked me the question, who would I rather sign, James Maddison for 40 million or Kai Havertz for 65 million? Well, my answer to that has been, I would rather sign Kai Havertz because Mikel Arteta has given me reason to trust his talent identification, his improvement of players, and who he wants to sign. And that links in very much to this comment here. And this is why I wanted to bring it up. It's because if we aren't signing Vlahovic, Mikel Arteta has given us a reason right now to trust that that is the right choice, because the record in the transfer market, the way in which he's built a squad that have taken us from 11th to a title race in just over 3 years gives me plenty of evidence to suggest that what we're doing in the market is the right thing. And that's why I've backed the Kai Havertz transfer. But when it comes to some things like you can't question the manager because you're not a manager, that's different. That is very, very different. But I wanted that, Praktika, your comment kind of raised that point in my mind that I wanted to address. And Tudor says, we can question the manager. Absolutely, you can. If you've got a valid point of view that is backed up by evidence and you can back it, not just like reading a statement, then do it. One of my least favorite things, you can probably tell this is going to be a slightly longer morning show, which I'm fine to do. We're celebrating 50K, so we can do a longer show. One of my least favorite things, and I put on Twitter the other day, what's your Arsenal YouTuber pet peeve? I was bored camping, so I was just kind of creating debates, if you like. But one of my pet peeves in being a content creator around Arsenal is when comments or tweets are left with just lies. Like, one of the biggest lies that I've seen recently, and I had a Twitter back and forth the other day with somebody about this, was like, someone said to me, Arteta's won 1 out of 15 trophies and we've spent 700 million pounds now. And I'm like, okay, let's break this down. First of all, where have you got 700 million pounds from? And they've gone, well, everything that he spent plus Rice, Timber and Havertz. And I'm like, okay, firstly, let's two things to that. First of all, before Rice, Timber and Havertz, Arsenal under Arteta hadn't spent over 400 million pounds. So I don't get where spending another 200 gets us to 700 million. So that's the first point of view. Second point of view, if we're criticizing Arteta for winning 1 out of 15 potential trophies, which is a separate argument in itself, you're using the Rice, Timber, Havertz investment as a reason to criticize the coach, despite the fact that none of those players were accessible or usable to him for any of those 15 trophies. And this is the type of debate that some people get into, is they use what they describe as facts in quotation marks and use them in arguments that are just simply not true. I had someone the other day leave a comment on my video suggesting that Kai Havertz can't defend, to which I thankfully have the data of FBref, which compares him to other forwards across the top 5 leagues, in which he sits in I even get the stats up for you. Havertz, FBref. Look at it. In terms of how he compares to other forwards, he sits in the 90th percentile for tackles, the 65th percentile for interceptions, 91st for blocks, 90th for clearances. The guy can defend, right? He's not the best when it comes to midfield. That's not ever going to be a debate. He's only in the 39th for tackles when it comes up against attacking midfielders and wingers. He is in the 52nd for blocks, which is not bad. And he's in the 96th for clearances and the 99th for aerial duels. That's good. Only the 14th for interceptions. But to say that he can't defend, again, it's just not true. And it comes down to hyperbole in comment sections. That's my pet peeve. It's like when comments are left that just aren't true. And I just feel like if you're going to leave a comment, if you're going to tweet, if you're going to get into a debate, if you're going to make statements, you've got to back them up. You've got to back them up with evidence. And you've got to, at the end of the day, you've got to just not say things that aren't true. So when you have people, do you remember the whole last season, the whole thing of Arteta spent £500 million, £500 million? That was the terminology people used. People said Arsenal have spent £500 million under Arteta. Completely lies. It's just completely not true. Arsenal spent less than £400 million prior to this summer under Mikel Arteta in terms of investment and transfers. You talk about net spend, whatever, but I'm not talking about net spend. Sorry, Mo. I'm talking about just kind of how much Arsenal have invested. I'm talking about regards to how much they've invested prior to this summer under Arteta, and it's less than £400 million, right? And I wrote a piece a while ago, and this wasn't a whole elaborate thing to me. Then plugging an article that I'd written. I'm trying to find it now. But I'd written a piece about the misconceptions about Arsenal's spending of around £500 million. I need to try and find it because I had all the stats of the other clubs as well and how much they had spent prior to this season. Because there is massive, massive misconceptions about how much Arsenal have spent during that period. Newcastle have spent over 300 million, I think. I think Liverpool have spent pretty much as close to what we've spent. Chelsea have spent way more. Manchester City have spent way more. Manchester United have spent way more. I'm desperately trying to find the article. I may not be successful this amount of time, but the idea is that just stop the lies. Do you know what I mean? Just stop lying about what Arsenal have done or not done or what they need to do, and just use factual information to have debates. That's what all I ask. All I ask in these things. And don't get whipped up into channels that will lie to you about situations. So there you go. Costa, thank you for the donation. Tom, make a rule. If people want to whine, they must pay a tax. Donate £20 million to Vinny's cancer cause, and then you can read and whine and comment. Good money there, mate. Thank you, Costa. Very much appreciate the kind donation. Look, I'm not going to make a rule. People should be allowed to criticize. I'm not saying that you can't criticize. I'm just saying be accurate in your criticism. That's all I'm asking. I'm just asking you not to lie. So when you have people saying, Arsenal spent £500 million, no, they haven't. They just haven't spent that much money. And by saying that, it changes things. Another one's coming to my mind, right? So when did David Ornstein tweet? David Ornstein, Rice agreement, Arsenal, 105 million. Let's find it. It was on the 5th. Was it the 5th of July? So here we go. Where's the tweet? I can't find it. Oh, this is really annoying for you to have to listen to me try and find things. So on the 5th of July, Arsenal agreed. The Gunners had a bid of £105 million accepted for Declan Rice. This was 8 I think 8 or 9 days ago was when this was. I really want to get the exact date because I don't want to make this incorrect. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. I need to find this. David Ornstein, Declan Rice. Let me find the tweet. Arsenal have reached a total agreement with West Ham to sign Declan Rice on the 4th of July. So that was 7, 8, 9, 10 days ago. All right. Now, if people want to turn around and say that Arsenal have, it's been 10 days since we agreed, that's fine, right? But it's when people say things like, it's been 2 weeks, it's been half a month. These types of exaggerations only make things worse in regards to the hype, the furore, the chaos on social media. All I ask is for people to speak in facts. That's all I want people to do. And the facts, the matter is that Arsenal have a total agreement with, in terms of the price, West Ham, and that we are just waiting for an announcement. And that, as Ornstein said yesterday on Sky, there is nothing to be concerned about at this moment in time. Nothing. It's just frustrating. Bradsky says, is it accurate that Arsenal were called out on worldwide Sky Sports that we're dragging out a deal and they're disappointed with how we're conducting business? There's the evidence. Wasn't it like how long ago that Arsenal were frustrated, reportedly, with West Ham's handling? It's transfer. Things are frustrating for clubs. From West Ham's point of view, they would have rather that Arsenal bid £105 million a month ago and got this deal done potentially at a higher price than what we're ending up paying. If Arsenal had gone in at £105 million a month ago, we might be ended up paying 110 or 115, or had to go all the way out to the 120 million pound valuation. The evidence is that Arsenal lowballed, they got a lower price, and it's just meant that we're going to sign him slightly later. And a West Ham saying they're frustrated. Of course they're frustrated. They'd rather have the money done. They'd rather have it done now. They'd rather have the money in the bank now. So do I care? Do I care that West Ham are annoyed? No, I don't give a toss. I don't care at all that West Ham, are annoyed about this. Stuff West Ham, because are going to pay £105 million for a player. Yeah. West Ham have got a huge amount of money out of this. They used the Manchester City interest to their advantage, and they got a big fee. They got over they got over the 100 million kind of valuation that was the minimum expectation, if you like. So do I care? No, I don't give a damn. I don't care about if West Ham are frustrated. It doesn't affect things. If that makes you embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan, that's on you. That's not on me. That's not on Arsenal. That's not on Arteta or Edu, all this negotiation. If you're embarrassed to be an Arsenal fan because Arsenal haven't announced Rice yet, that's all you, baby. It's all you. That's all I can say. Gooner Gang says, Tom, how can we complete our biggest signing when he isn't in the country? Is this not just like paper selling journalism? To be fair, Gooner Gang, there are suggestions and have been reports that the medical's done and kind of in a situation where it could be relatively announced pretty quickly. There's arguments that maybe media has even been completed. I don't know that. Please don't quote me on that. But, I say these words, and I'm bringing this up now. I say the words, please don't quote me on this, because I'm getting so sick and tired of some websites taking words from this show and taking them completely out of context. It's really odd. If you're going to use my words, please use them in context. Please use full paragraphs, and don't use a snippet of the word in the headline. It's really, really irritating. Let's go to Keith says you're exaggerating now, Tom. It's 100 million and 5 in add-ons. Brilliant. Gavin says Havertz likes chocolate ice cream, but Rice likes strawberry. Facts. This is the type of groundbreaking comments that we like, Gavin. Yes, very much appreciate that. Let's go up the chat a little bit more. Louis says they came to a verbal agreement, so they still needed to write up the contracts, get lawyers to check over definitions, sign the medical photo shoots, interviews. It's hardly slow, and that's so spot on. The agreement. Arsenal have reached total agreement with West Ham to sign Declan Rice. West Ham have now accepted the payment structure on record: 100 million and 5. 20-year-old midfielder to be given permission to medical and finalise personal terms. Things are still to be agreed, still yet to be done. Matthew says, but why haven't we signed them yet, though? How long do these things take? as long as a piece of string is. How long? As long as a piece of string. It takes time, and it really shouldn't be that upsetting to people that it hasn't been announced yet. It's going to be announced. It's going to happen. Just chill. Take a chill pill. Enjoy the game today. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm really looking forward to watching Arsenal play. I can't wait to watch the game later. I can't wait to see what Kai Havertz does. I can't wait to see which injuries are back in terms of Saliba, Martinelli, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Elneny. Let's see where these guys are at in terms of their progression. I can't wait to see some youth players. Ethan Nwaneri get involved. Miles Lewis-Skelly. Raw Waters given opportunities. I can't wait to see Austin Trusty. I'm actually excited to see what Austin Trusty can do. Folarin Balogun getting back into. There's reasons for people to be, enthralled and anticipating what we're going to do. I can't wait. You can watch it on the Arsenal website. If you can't watch it because you're out, I'll be doing text commentary on the football.london website. So make sure you stay tuned, stay in the know about everything that's going on in regards to the game. So there we are. There was another super chat. Laka, the local man. Thank you for your donation, my friend. I read something about Arteta training White to play in defensive midfield in case Partey still wants to leave. About Rice and Timber, I don't get. Arsenal fans. Shake my head. On the White thing, I've personally not heard that about the midfield and training in midfield. I've not heard that personally, so I can't verify that. But Arteta has used players out of position in the past. He's used players in different areas. He's used Martinelli as a striker in training before, but that's not turned into a full-time thing. So, yeah, I think there's still lots of things to change and wait for. Let's go to Gurav says West Ham would have preferred the deal price at 120 million, agreed 1 month ago, but not announced until they could buy a replacement at 30% of the price they will now pay for the same guy. Of course, they would have rather the deal was done a month earlier because they probably would have got a higher figure. They would have been able to get their business done earlier, but it's a real shame. These deals take time. Facts. Simple as how it goes. Faluso says, what's your starting 11 for today's match? Any thoughts? It's really difficult to do pre-season 11s because things change. I think what we will see is kind of maybe a strong 11 start, maybe, and then we'll change things up in the second half. So it might be Ramsdale, White, Holding, because I'm not sure if Saliba's fit or not, Gabriel, maybe Zinchenko, if not, Tierney will probably start. Then you've got Partey's obviously travelled, so Partey. Who else have we got? Havertz and Odegaard, I guess. And Jesus, Saka, and Trossard might be the front three, because I don't know if Martinelli's fit yet. Smith Rowe's obviously not back yet. So, yeah, still plenty to think about, plenty to discuss. Anyway, we're going to wrap things up there. We've been going for 47 minutes. I need to get this out for audio listeners. Thank you to everybody that's tuned in. It is very much appreciated. It's been a bumper show. It's been emotional. It's been ranty. It's everything you've come to expect from a TGT morning stream. And to the 50,000 of you that are now subscribed, thank you. It is really appreciated. It is very, very kind of you indeed that you continue to support this channel, continue to put up with my patronizing rants sometimes, my condescending tone that some people might claim. But most of all, I hope that you appreciate this as a grounded, objective place in which we're trying to be sensible. We don't just shout and scream because it's fashionable. I feel like we've grown this channel in the right way. We've grown this channel in a way in which I'm really, really proud of. And most of all, the community here is the best thing about it. The best thing about this channel is the people that listen and this community that we've built. I can't wait to meet, see, and share a podcast with you next month in London on the 13th of August. We will be doing a live show. I'm really looking forward to it. I look forward to bringing you information about how you can attend. As I say, we will be releasing tickets first to members in the Discord server. And for those tickets that were left, we will release them later to general sales. So if you don't want to miss out, please, please, please do get involved. It is very much appreciated. Thank you for listening, as always. And I will speak to you maybe later on today. Probably not, because I'm working the late shifts, but certainly tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. once again. You enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your Thursday. Enjoy the game. And we'll be there. We're back tomorrow morning with a raw reaction show to talk about the Nurnberg game. So I look forward to it. See you soon. Have a great day. And as always, stay safe, stay well, and up the Arsenal.